I think from experience and from what we've seen, I would say there's about 3 parts in hybrid athlete training.
I think first you gotta be lean.
Okay, welcome to a new episode of the Pack Mentality podcast. So today we have usual suspects, right? So Kei Kei, Vicki, Clayton, and yours truly. So we want to discuss today Hyrox profiles. Essentially what sparked the debate for me was I saw a quote on Instagram from Meg Jacoby, which is an Elite 15 world champion. And I think it relates to her background from CrossFit. She was saying you shouldn't train as a lifter who runs, but as a runner who lifts, being that the focus of your training should be mostly running, and then you can do some lifting, some Hyrox specific stuff on the side.
I think I agree to a certain extent because when I think of the Hyrox movements, the ski and row aside, a lot of them are quite basic movements. Like the wall ball is a squat and a shoulder press. The lunges is to lunges. A burpee is a burpee. There's nothing that's as technical as, say, Olympic weightlifting. Whereas I think the run is, if you don't have a good running base, it's really easy for someone who can, say, finish a 10K in an hour and totally bomb the run because they're not prepared for the level of fatigue that they will feel. Or maybe it's my bias because I am a runner who lifts. I'm a runner who lifts. So I think I agree in the sense that it's more running focused.
Being more of a lifter than a runner until after Hyrox, adding running to improve my Hyrox, as opposed to people who I then met afterwards, like you guys who run and then pick up all the stations afterward. It seems a lot easier and faster for you guys to pick up and to improve in terms of like time compared to, like, say, me and Hugo. This really applies to the people who are really trying to improve in that 1 minute in their race. They're already at a certain level. That's when you're like, okay, you need to train like a runner who lifts. But as opposed to someone who's just recently like joining or not at that level yet, I feel like that's not something that they have to concern about too much yet.
Well, obviously I am a runner who lifts.
Obviously.
Well, right.
Obviously.
Maybe not yet. I am a runner and who never lived before, and then running into Hyrox, blinded, did not what I was going to encounter until I finished my first Hyrox, and I'm like, shit, I need to work on my station.
I think if you're a total beginner on both, I think you should work on the total package. I think if you have to choose which one you want to be better at, you want to be better at running. I think if you're a good runner and average on the station, you'll get a better time than if you're good at the station but average runner.
You get bigger improvement through running compared to stations.
Yeah.
But running, if you improve 10 seconds per kilometer, that's pretty much more than a minute.
Yeah, you multiply by 8
Yeah,
every time
yeah.
you improve. So yeah, definitely. What would be the ideal Hyrox athlete profile?
I think first you gotta be lean. You can see from Elite 15 people, they're pretty lean.
You're lean now. You were
You're lean. You're lean. No, you're fine. You're fine. You look good.
I'm lean now. About 6 months ago.
Are you trying to fat shame me right now? What the fuck?
Sticker. Fat. You were just
I didn't say the word.
hella buff.
You're not fat, you're hella buff.
You're hella buff.
Thank you. Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
Anyways, yeah, you can see from Elite 15 people, you can tell they're fast. They have lean muscle. They have the strength to do the stations. At the same time, they have the speed on the run. And I think that's the perfect example that I think everyone should go to that direction.
It doesn't really require someone to have the amount of muscle mass to move like a truck, to be able to move the sled for the girls or a sled for the guys, like 150 for the guys and 100 for the girls. It's not really like crazy weight, you know. So it does benefit to be a little bit leaner.
I do see that there is a big difference with like a kilogram or two of like if you go on a cut you do run a bit faster, but at the same time strength wise it could really benefit you on not feeling compromised as much or at all in some of the stations. So I think like for the sleds, for the push, for the lunges, I feel like strength training wise that's really important because I think it's far more beneficial to finish a station and feel near fresh, like at least for your legs, and to still keep going. So I think there is a balance. But I agree in the sense that there is no need to be able to be super, super jacked to be able to move a truck to do Hyrox because it is majority a run race rather than a strength race.
That being said, I think it opens up a whole new type of training where you train strength endurance.
As long as you're just strong enough to do the station comfortably for extended-ish periods of time, that's enough. And I don't think being stronger necessarily hurts, but it's more a balance of how much time is it going to cost you to be stronger, and time that you could be using to be better at something else. And that's why actually the quote from Jacoby kind of resonated with me, because like despite me focusing heavily on the run, I think I was still keeping the strength training volume and numbers too high. But it's not necessarily, I know it was not helping me, but it's more because
You like it.
I like it and I spent years building it, so I didn't want to lose it. And maybe it's a bit of insecurity at the end of the day, because I can still rebuild it later. For myself, I'm not as good a runner as a lot of the other guys that are on my level, quote unquote, like doing the same times as me. Is I think the ability to like, switch gears, switch effort, and pace yourself at the right level and keep grinding when it hurts. And I think it's super underrated. For my time, I usually am not running as fast as the other guys, but I'm definitely transitioning faster. I'm definitely faster at the stations.
Strength wise, you only need to get so strong to do really well at the stations, whereas the runs you could do really well at like 4:34, but then you see, I think it's those two guys that have the world record for men's double, and they were running like 3-minute kilometers. So I think you could really shave off from the runs, whereas you can only
You're never too fast at running.
You're never too fast, whereas
Yeah.
the stations you can only get so fast.
Yeah, that's true. Or like the gains are so marginal, but the running,
Yeah,
there's
the
no
running
marginal
you can-
gains. Yeah. So now that we have defined, let's say, the perfect hybrid rock star, like what does that mean in terms of training, and how would you ideally split your training between everything we mentioned?
Before the summer race season, I was spending more time at the gym for Hyrox stations. I made it a goal to sort of get a run in before, just to kind of emulate that race feel. Like I used to just do a long run, then come to class. But as I think the season progressed, that kind of shifted a little just because there were so many races. But I think right now, since I guess I'm off season in Hyrox and I'm marathon training, there's been a bigger run focus because I feel like I can do the women's weights well, and it's about doing the pro weights well now. And I think I can build up to that again once marathon season is over, and I think muscle memory will serve me well, hopefully.
I think from experience and from what we've seen, I would say there's about 3 parts in hybrid athlete training. So there would be your running 100%, 50, 60% of your training, and that'll be split between all the kinds of running that you need, your long runs, your intervals, long intervals, short intervals, your tempo runs, your zone 2 runs, whatever that you can fit in. And then there would be a fair amount of strength training. What I think you cannot miss is the station or like HIIT classes or compromise workouts, just to put your body in that situation while going through the movements at the weight that you need to go through. Combination of these 3 elements would make like the perfect training schedule. I feel like we never actually talk about what you really do in the strength classes. The movement, the like rep range, the kind of like weight range that you would like quickly recommend.
I think strength training is super basic, and a lot of people, they think you need to have like fancy formats and movement, and you see a lot of weird stuff on IG. For Hyrox, you need basically leg strength. It's 90% legs, shoulder strength, a little bit of back strength, and that's it. The compound lift, squat, deadlift, strict press, I would go 8 to 12 reps. For women, to squat 50 to 60 kilo, I'd say deadlift probably 60 to 70. Strict press, honestly, I think like 15 to 20 kilos, way enough. For men, probably for open, I'd say you want to squat probably 80. Deadlift, probably 90 or 100. Which honestly, with just a month or 2 of training, like you get there, like anybody can do it. Then when you get to pro, you probably want to add about, I'd say 15 to 20 kilo to every numbers I mentioned. And women, same thing. Yeah. And then for the muscle endurance, just do like long sets. Like I'm talking lunges, don't do 10 lunges, do 20, 25, 30, and walk your way up to 100. Maybe not in one go, you might take small rest, but you have to be able to go for long periods. Like we all come from different sports or I think usually competitively, and now we are into Hyrox. So is that now like your main competitive focus, or you think you're gonna go back to other things, or?
I mean, that could happen at the same time, right? You don't need to focus on just one thing at a time. I mean, that's also for me triathlon. I do 3 things at a time.
But aren't you competing way more Hyrox than triathlon right now?
Right now, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I enjoy the race experience. And I think in a way it also helps me in triathlon too.
Yeah, because there's a lot of similarities.
I mean, I think because I see Hyrox as a main running race first, then the strength bits, I feel like doing Hyrox races and training for Hyrox in a way does help with running in general. I think maybe more trail running than road running, just because there is so much more endurance. I think the way I think about trail running is you go up a lot, you go down a lot, and that I've noticed since I've started Hyrox, trail running has gotten significantly easier. So I do still feel more of I'm a runner first than I do Hyrox for fun.
Like one of the big reason Hyrox is like trending is I think it's an easy avenue to compete.
I just don't know if it has the longevity of, say, like endurance running, triathlons, if it'll get there, because there is so much standardization that is needed for it to have that longevity. You're going to have to standardize every single run at every single venue. You're going to have to standardize the way the turfs work. You're going to have to standardize how they do the wall balls for
But
it
if you
to
compare
be
to like, for
long-term.
example, triathlon, the course is different every location, and it's still going. You know what I mean?
But
It's
the
like,
distances are the same. So it's like,
Well,
yes,
so
you
is
have.
Hyrox.
No, it's not. All the runs, the Hong Kong one in May
the
was a bit longer.
same-ish.
But you're not going to have a same-ish competition that makes it to
But
the
for
Olympics.
example, if you take like Ironman, some courses might be have hills, some courses flat, some courses like mountains.
But that's
so
part of the game. Same with the running. Whereas Hyrox, they've
I could
marketed
argue
as
that it's
an
part of
indoor thing.
Hyrox's game too. Like not all the venues are identical, but it's very similar.
No, but like say like the difficulty of the sled.
Yeah, some things that you
Okay.
can't
Like that, like you know that's like the standard. That's what I mean by like standardizing.
Yeah.
It's easier to standardize a triathlon because they expect all the hills and
Yeah,
everything to be
that's-
different, and all they need to know is that the distance is the same.
and they share.
Oh,
if
sorry,
it's
sorry.
Flat, if it's hilly. And
Yeah. Whereas like I think there's an expectation that the sled should be the same to be fair.
Well,
like
yeah.
if everybody is equally difficult, then fine. If everybody's equally easy, then fine. I think the only problem is it's hard to standardize because there's so many elements.
Hype is deserved, I think, and like I don't know how many Hyroxes you can do until you get until like you want to do something else.
you know.
Like for me, I don't know. Like I'm super competitive, and like obviously my Muay Thai days are behind me, so I don't plan on getting kicked in the face anymore. So right now, Hyrox is a nice avenue. You know, if like eventually, like for me, like after Muay Thai, I focused a lot on like weightlifting. I was contemplating powerlifting competition and stuff. But right now, I'm deep into Hyrox. But maybe eventually, I'll be like, yeah, you know what? I'm tired of the running, and I'll just move on to something else. But I like the fact that, you know, I get to compete and I love to compete. So
That's it for today, guys. Thanks for listening to the Pack Mentality, and we'll see you guys again next episode. Bye.